Trapped under that area of high pressure, there has been quite a bit of cloud, and still through this evening and overnight, big lumps of cloud.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
What does it feel like to be a Great British Giveaway winner?
That's a big surprise.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
Do you know what? I've never won anything like this in my life.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
That is absolutely fantastic.
We're over the moon.
Yes, that is fantastic.
You know, you have no idea how much I needed it. Oh my goodness.
You've won £54,321.
Please don't joke. This would change my life.
Oh, thank you so much. I was gobsmacked. Thank you, GBNews.
I'd say don't hesitate, do it. If you're not in it, you've got no chance of winning it.
Thank you.
You weren't expecting to get that call today, were you?
No, I wasn't.
You really could be our next big winner. Head over to gbnews.com/win now to find out how and get your entry for the Great British Giveaway. Great prizes, even greater wins.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Dubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akua, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
very much for coming, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, well. Your Friday night starts now, doesn't it? It is 9 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. On tonight's show.
I do think the police were dishonest in what they released and what they said about me, and I will be, holding them to account for that.
Well, Lucy Connelly's free, and she is coming for the Prime Minister as well.
Have you been Keir Starmer's political prisoner?
Absolutely. And me and several other people. Like I said, it's important to remember that it wasn't just me.
And now it's the government versus the people. Yvette Cooper will be challenging that court ruling, saying that the migrant hotel in Epping is illegal. But where is she? She's gone interrailing across Europe. Seriously, it's not a joke. She's gone interrailing across Europe. She's just gone. She's left the country. Everything's kicking off here. She's gone off with Ed Balls. Also...
Tip for first-timers at Hill Carnival. Firstly, why is it your first time? But actually, on a serious note, check the weather forecast, make sure you stay hydrated, take a bottle of water.
OK, so Notting Hill Carnival starts tomorrow, but should it be banned? And?
I wouldn't be opposed to 100% inheritance tax. Or maybe, let's say, 99%.
Well, I'm keen to get people's views on this, about whether or not they think that inheritance tax should just be scrapped. Plus, who in this room is proud of our country's flag? Yeah. Well, there we are. I was driving into the office today, and there's a pedestrian crossing, and someone has spray painted the St George's Cross across all of it. Seriously. And I was like, but obviously I kept my balaclava on, so no one will know it was me. But anyway, on my panel tonight, we have got the former deputy chairman of the Tory party, Jonathan Gullis. Broadcasting royalty, Christo Fufas. We've got former Tory MP, Jane Stevenson. And GBNews fan favourite comedian Steve N. Allen. All right, well, get ready, Britain. Here we go. Lucy Connelly is coming for Sir Keir Starmer. Next.
Very good evening. It's just gone 9 o'clock. These are your latest headlines. The top story this evening, Lucy Connelly has accused Sir Keir Starmer of holding her as a political prisoner and says it was bizarre that she had to spend more than a year behind bars. Speaking to The Telegraph, she said she is considering legal action against the police. As she explained, she believes that they were dishonest in what they released about her. A Northamptonshire police spokesperson said that they are hoping to contact Ms Connelly in the coming days. Ms Connelly was handed a 31-month sentence but left HMP Peterborough yesterday morning after being released on licence.
Of course, it wasn't my finest moment, and I definitely don't advocate violence or burning anything down or anything of the sort. To be honest, it was emotion. Does that make sense to you? I don't know what was going on. I was just so upset and so angry and just thinking to myself, when will this stop, I was just anger, and just, I wasn't thinking rationally.
Samani Hotels, the owner of the Bell Hotel in Epping, and the Home Office will seek to appeal against the High Court's refusal to allow it to intervene in the case of a hotel used to house asylum seekers in Epping. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp has condemned the Home Office's decision, calling it completely wrong. New figures reveal that more than 32,000 asylum seekers are currently living in hotels. That's an 8% increase since Labour's first year in power. Conservative Party Chair Kevin Hollinrake firmly disagrees with the government's decision.
The government's just not listening. People do not want these hotels in their local area. And what they actually want is a deterrent putting back in place, like we have with the Rwanda deterrent, which has stopped these crossings in the first place. That's what the government needs to re-implement.
Now, in the last hour, Vladimir Putin says he believes there's light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to Russia-US relations. Speaking during a visit to a nuclear research centre, the Russian leader said that he was certain President Trump's leadership qualities would help in restoring relations from their recent lows. He added that their Alaska meeting last week was, quote, very good, meaningful and frank. Mr Putin said that the US now holds the ball and that the next step depends on the leadership from President Donald Trump. And scientists have discovered a new species of dinosaur, which had an eye-catching sail along its back and tail, which might have been used to attract mates. The new dinosaur, whose fossils were found on the Isle of Wight, was identified by PhD student at the University of Portsmouth and the Natural History Museum, Jeremy Lockwood. The dinosaur has been named after the sailor Dame Ellen MacArthur, who also comes from the Isle of Wight. Those are the latest GB News headlines for now. More from me in an hour, but now it's back to Patrick.
Tune into GB News Radio wherever you are, online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Oh, well, very good evening, everybody. Thank you to everybody who's in our live studio audience. We have got a whole host of top topics for you tonight. I think we have to start with this one, though, don't we? Lucy Connelly is a free woman, and she's not holding back.
Have you been Keir Starmer's political prisoner?
Absolutely. And me and several other people. Like I said, it's important to remember that it wasn't just me. I, for some reason, seem to have had the most coverage, but there are people that are in equally awful situations that shouldn't be in there, and we should also be fighting for them and remembering them, and when they come out, give them the same support as what I'm getting from people as well.
She thinks the Prime Minister influenced her sentence.
Lucy, do you think Keir Starmer influenced the way you and others were treated by the criminal justice system?
100%, yes. He'd already... When he made his speech in the beginning, this is before I was even arrested, I thought it was very divisive. It was very much, oh, well, if you're bothered about children being murdered, you're a right-wing, you're far right. That's not, people are going to be and are entitled to be upset, deeply upset about the unnecessary death of children. And let's not forget the other children that didn't lose their lives and what they now have to go through and what they went through.
Well, and she's not going away. She might actually be meeting a representative of President Trump's administration to discuss free speech issues in this country, and she has vowed to join the fight for free speech.
And free speech is exceedingly important in the UK, and it is something that seemingly is diminishing. I appreciate that you can't just go around saying exactly what you want when you want, but really trying to putting people in prison for something they said.
All right, OK, so let's just have a little look at this next clip and see whether or not you think that this woman deserved to be sentenced initially to 31 months and obviously be separated from her family.
Of course, it wasn't my finest moment, and I definitely don't advocate violence or burning anything down or anything of the sort. To be honest, it was emotion. Does that make sense? I don't know what was going on. I was just so upset and so angry and just thinking to myself, when will this stop, I was just anger, and just, I wasn't thinking rationally.
All right, well, I'm keen to see what my audience make of that, but of course there is a full, I think it's an hour and 15-minute version of that interview by the wonderful Alison Pearson, the Telegraph star columnist, probably, for my money anyway, the best journalist in the country, so make sure that you do go to the Telegraph and watch the full thing. But let's get the views of my audience, get the views of my panel. I think I might go straight to the audience tonight, if that's all right. There's a chap on the front row here. So what would you like to say about the Lucy Connelly situation? I mean, do you think she was a political prisoner?
I would like to ask, was Lucy Connelly a political prisoner?
Yeah. Do you think she might have been, or what's?
Yeah,
go on, bring that microphone up to your face, sir.
Two-tier care.
Right. Okay.
Justice.
That's your view.
Yeah.
Are you worried about? I don't know. What are you worried about? Free speech in this country? Do you think because obviously what she said, many people think was she says herself. She regrets saying it.
Free speech is almost gone in this country. Anything you say, they put you in prison. So even Trump, the whole world knows the situation except the Prime Minister.
OK. All right, well, your views, you got us off to a good start from the audience there. Go on, Jonathan. Got to get you unleashed on this first and foremost. Do you think she's a political prisoner?
So, look, what Lucy Connelly tweeted was disgusting, was disgraceful, was wrong. She herself has admitted that. And she admitted that because 4 hours after tweeting it, she deleted it and then subsequently apologised for it once it was highlighted by others on social media. The idea, however, that one person and with the tweet somehow is responsible for others to behave the way they did on the streets, which was wrong. People being, attacking hotels where individuals are inside of it. No one wants to see those scenes. No one condones that. No one accepts that that is the wrong thing to happen. But the reality is that a woman who's apologised, a woman who's deleted one single tweet, ended up spending months behind bars when we've got literal paedophiles like Hugh Edwards who have been convicted of having indecent images of children and yet not sentenced to time in jail. It is complete and utter shambles of a system. It is, therefore, two-tier care. And it's even more disgusting when we saw... a Labour councillor who has been acquitted by a jury of his peers, who decided not to plead guilty, unlike Lucy Connelly, who chose to plead guilty, albeit I think she undertook bad legal advice on that particular one. But you can literally be on the streets of this country calling for the slitting of throats, and somehow that's not an incitement to hatred, but a stupid tweet that you then delete 4 hours later. That means we could all be behind bars. It's for the birds, and Sir Keir Starmer should hang his head in shame.
OK. Wants to come in on this, just raise your hand. Either side of it, I don't care. Some of you might think she deserves to go to prison. Some of you might think that she is a political prisoner. Just wave your hand, we'll get the microphone to you. Jane, your views on Lucy Connelly. She thinks she was a political prisoner and that Sir Keir Starmer influenced the length of her sentence.
I did see a video of Keir Starmer speaking when the rioting was happening, and he said, if you're getting involved, you will be detained and you'll be prosecuted. And I wonder, what led to the Lucy Connelly outcome was the fact she wasn't given bail, which I think is extraordinary. She wasn't a threat to society. I think it led to her getting that legal advice. I would very much like to know who gave her that legal advice. Clearly, Ricky Jones had a year to think up his explanation of why he was going slit people's throats on the street. And he said it in a position of authority. He was an elected representative, a Labour councillor in that community. Lucy Connelly, anonymous mum on Twitter. And I think that legal advice led to her being in prison. She was treated differently. She did have two-tier justice. She wasn't given visitation rights with her daughter, which I think is disgraceful. And I'm glad that she's come out, fighting, basically. She's not taking it lying down, and nor should she.
Well, and on that note, Christo, how much of a thorn in Sir Keir Starmer's side do you think she's going to be here? Because she's saying that she's considering, by the way, taking legal action, maybe against the local police force. She's also talking about maybe meeting up with some representatives from President Trump's camp. So, that's going to be a bit of a niggle there, isn't it? And how much of a problem do you think she's going to be?
Well, in his sort of vile desperation to score political points out of calling every single person far right, and therefore, in my opinion, prejudicing any potential trials that were coming up, what he's done, fool that he is actually make a martyr out of her, because now she is going to be the poster girl of free speech. She was wrong. And the question is she a political prisoner? And a political prisoner is when you're put in prison because of your political views. Well, she did something wrong, but was the punishment too harsh? Absolutely. Should she not have gone to prison? I think absolutely. Was she in prison because of her political views? No. But was she in prison because of politics, i.e. Keir Starmer playing politics? 100%. Absolutely. And by the way, can I just make one other very quick point? Absolutely. I think it's really important that we also, because Lucy Connelly's taking a lot of the oxygen on this debate, and understandably, but I don't know if anyone saw the story today, but from the Ministry of Justice, there has been a jump from 1 conviction in 2015 to 44 in the year 2024 for people saying things online. And a lot of people are saying, look, this is going too far now, especially when those people who are accused of this need to have their prosecution signed off by the Attorney General, Lord Hermer. Lord Hermer, of course, being the person that called Tories and Reform Nazis and said accusations of two-tier justice were disgusting. So we do need to start looking at whether people who say nasty things and incite horrible things, is that worth going to prison for? And that is the question.
I do wonder if there has to be some kind of proof that somebody was incited by something someone said.
Well, they have that in America. In America, the threshold is that you've said it, but also did it actually create a situation where people then acted on it. And there are those two thresholds.
The syntax she used, though, set fire to the hotels for all I care. It's like, I think my mum used to say, go and boil your head for all I care. She didn't invite me to go and boil my own head.
She should be locked up. Lock your mum up. It's disgraceful.
Go on, Steve, what's your take on all this? You've sat there very patiently and listened to everyone else. Have you got a different view on it?
Let me say the annoying things, because this is what I do. For some reason, I don't get on with people. So, tick box. Number one, you should, obviously, she didn't think it was a good tweet because deleting it, totally agree. No one thinks it's a good tweet. Get that one out of the way. Shouldn't go to prison for a tweet. I'll give you that one as well. Because, yeah, there was no one who read it and was like, I wasn't going to set fire to something, but I read this tweet, and now I'm like, where's the petrol? No one's done that.
And if they did, they're a moron.
Yeah, and move those to one side. This argument about Keir Starmer probably changed. I don't know. I can't quite imagine he was sat there doing the evil hand thing going, if there's one person I wish to get, it's the kingpin of Twitter. I think this is just, it's a bigger... He wasn't directly sat there stroking a cat trying to bring this about. And I think... some people obviously disagree with that. It was it was the cat, actually. That's what it was. It was the cat, not anyone else. I think this is more an issue of, look, it was wrong to happen, but and you shouldn't go to prison for it. You didn't incite any racial things, but we're setting up as if this has been controlled by Keir Starmer. We keep using the quote that Keir Starmer said, anyone who goes on the right is far right, and we're getting the quote wrong. He said that these things are going to be useful to any far-right politicians using it to stoke anger.
There is also the other quote, which I think is quite key, which is when people were arrested initially, and they had things like their addresses put out and their mugshots put out before they'd been to trial, before they'd even had a chance to plead, he came and did an interview and said, we've got people going through the course and I am now expecting substantive sentencing. Which, for a bloke who used to be in charge of our legal system, I think the judges might have looked at that and thought, well, we're going to do what he says.
And also, let's not forget that the reason that this climate occurred was because of the lack of information that the government knew about what was going on. So it's almost like when it comes to the Southport, so it's almost like they created the climate
they changed the
where
policy
people
now.
then got angry and then scored political capital.
And now
those
that
very people being
information
angry.
comes out, doesn't it? Now we're living in a world where that information should come out. That's what we're being told.
Can I get a little feel for the room? Because I do want to see where we're at on this. So who, just by way of noise, I suppose, who thinks that it was wrong for Lucy Connelly to go to prison? She shouldn't have gone to prison. Is there anyone, and I don't want people to be silenced here by the fact that you probably clearly outnumber, but is there anyone here who genuinely thinks it was right, send her to prison, she should have gone to prison? No. Right, OK, fair enough. So you've got the microphone back in front of your face. Is there anything else you've heard a little bit here now? I mean, what do you think? Do you think Sir Keir Starmer should apologise to Lucy Connelly? Are you concerned about, about other people?
They should apologise. And, for example, free speech, we're talking of free speech. Somebody said, I love bacon in public, and he got arrested today. That's free speech for us.
I have seen that. I'm slightly concerned it might be an active case, but I did see it, and it is ludicrous. But yes, we'll have to wait and see about whatever happens there. But that's where we are. So is Lucy Connelly potentially going and speaking with some of the Trump regime? If that happens, that could be a big concern.
Well, of course it would be a big thing, and it goes back to Vice President Vance, who called it out when Sir Keir Starmer was in the White House and said that there were substantive issues. On that occasion, he was talking about the fact that in this country, there are individuals who silently, in their head, are praying over the fact that they obviously are against abortions. Now, absolutely, a woman, if they want to have the right to choose, should be able to have an abortion without fear of being screamed and shouted at and intimidated. But how on earth someone can be arrested for standing silently nearby and just praying in their head? This is end of world stuff. This is where we end up with the robots trying to tell us what we're allowed to do and not do at the end of the day. I think iRobot, something like that from Will Smith film. There are other films available. Sorry to not upset anyone, but the idea there is that this is the ludicrous situation that we find ourselves in, and the problem is that there's every right for the Trump administration to go that free speech looks like it's being curtailed in some way. Now, however, I would remind people that free speech, whilst it is a right that we have to be responsible with. I'm not one of these libertarian kind of free speech people, probably a bit more like Elon Musk, that thinks anyone can say anything without any kind of repercussion. I think there has to be a consequence. And look, Lucy Connelly, had she been fined, for example, we could live with that, or made to do community service, I think we all would have gone, OK, fair enough. But to imprison a woman for that length of time is mad.
What's sad about it is she thought she's not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. If I were arrested for something, I would have to take the advice of whoever came in. I think she thought she was doing the right thing by saying, well, I did tweet it.
Yeah.
They advised her to plead guilty. So, you know, she felt bad about it and tried to do the right thing, and I think that's just very sad.
She says the police were asking her all sorts of really quite bonkers questions as well. I mean, there's, again, I would urge people to go and watch that full interview with Alison Pearce in the Telegraph. But, you know, she was asked, like, so are you a racist, this, that and the other? And she said that in front of her lawyer, she was saying that I understand the difference between legal and illegal immigration. You know, she explained the situation that happened with, sadly, she has kind of PTSD, really, because of the loss of one of her children, you know, a good number of years ago. She kind of explained all of this, and she thought that it would be all right. And then she was told she's being remanded in custody, and it basically put the frighteners up her, and her main focus was trying to get back home to her daughter as quickly as possible. So she said what she thought she should say to get her out of there. And I don't know, it feels like a bit of a problem, all of that stuff.
Yeah,
It's very sad.
And how many times have we debated as well pre-sentencing reports and how that leads to sort of not very harsh sentences for people? Didn't appear to be one this time, did there?
Could you say that that was great detective work, wasn't it, from the police officer saying, are you a racist? As if someone's going to go, yes. Oh, I meant to say no. Oh, now I'm going to prison.
It's true. Well, look, the reason we're going to knock this on the head now is because I really, really, really want to explain to you all the breaking news that happened just before we came on air, which is, finally, Reform have actually announced what their policy is on illegal immigration. But before that, we have to go to Northamptonshire Police, because the spokesperson's been on. They say, we are aware of comments made by Lucy Connelly in an interview following her release from prison. We hope to contact Mrs Connelly in the coming days. Sounds ominous, doesn't it? To contact Mrs Connelly in the coming days.
Can't wait.
To understand the issues she has raised around Northamptonshire Police.
I mean, I think that's a really bad... I'm no expert, but I don't think that Lucy Connelly wants to hear from you. I think that she's going to be all right not speaking to the police for a few days.
Go to prison for a tweet. Imagine what you get for an interview.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Imagine what you get for actually slagging them off to their face.
Oh, my God.
All right, well, look, before we get on to Reform's illegal immigration policy, I know why you're all here. It is, of course, time for the Great British Giveaway. Actually entered this one. Yeah, a few people good. There we go. All right. Well, good, because you could live mortgage or rent-free for a year and have £5,000 in cash, or grab yourself £15,000 tax-free as a lump sum. Make sure you don't miss out. Here's how you can be in it to win it.
It's the final week to see how you could win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 tax-free cash instead. Make sure you don't miss out, as lines close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Well, breaking news this evening. Nigel Farage has outlined Reform UK's plan to end the migrant crisis. There's a lot to it. I'm going to give you a little snippet. It's 5 deportation flights a week, and it involves the RAF, but there is a lot more. So don't go anywhere.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
Only on GB News.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record. You say that week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're
the failure
deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Dubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akua, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we are proud to stand for you, for the Britain you love, for the communities you live in. That's what makes us the fearless champions of Britain. Its voices and its values. Because we, at GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Well, very good evening, everybody. A lovely raucous crowd in here, off to a flyer, and hey, big breaking news happening right now. Nigel Farage has unveiled reforms planned to end the migrant crisis. So, we all ready for it? Right? A reform government would arrest all small boat arrivals and detain them on disused military bases until they're deported. He says the aim of this legislation is mass deportations. Fair enough. He's pledged to put on 5 deportation flights a day, not a week, as I said earlier, a day. And he will sign return deals with countries including Afghanistan and Eritrea, which are 2 of the top 5 countries where people are coming in on small boats, certainly in the last year anyway. They're going to use British overseas territories like the Ascension Island to house migrants if they need to. And to do all this, the reform leader says that the UK would have to leave the ECHR. So he is, I think we kind of knew that bit anyway, but he's definitely pledging to leave the ECHR. And Nigel Farage's comments come just a day after Sir Keir Starmer actually made history. For all the wrong reasons. More than 111,000 people applied for asylum in the first year of Keir Starmer's premiership. That is a new record. There were 49,000 illegal arrivals over that same period, which is an increase of 27%. And we can add a few thousand more on top of that, I think, now that we're in August, because those figures ended in July. Channel migrants account for 88% of those illegal entrants. So, you know, if we solve the Channel migrant crisis, we'd knock it down by 88%, realistically. So there we go. Those are the kind of facts and figures for you. I'll go straight to my audience, if that's all right. Sir, I appreciate we've just landed Nigel Farage's legal immigration plan on you. But
yeah, thanks for that.
First, yeah, you're right, mate. At first hearing, what's your gut feeling about that?
Well, the gut feeling is hopefully it works. Hopefully it happens, because a lot of times we get politicians tell you one thing. He's got 4 years before he's going to be able to deliver. So let's hope in the next 4 years this Labour lot realise that their ideology just sucks, really. And they've got to be replaced, because this country's near enough finished now.
OK, good. Well, there's a couple of people in the audience tonight who are auditioning for their own show on GB News, I think, so it's good. But what do we make of this, Christy? I mean, some of the standout things for me there, I think anyway, was, well, 5 deportation flights a day, utilising the RAF if need be.
Yeah, I think that in principle that is what is required. Actually, I think the thing that is most interesting as well is offshore processing, because that was what worked with Australia. That they actually got their small boat crossings, I think, 1 year down to 0 because of the offshore processing. And people seem to be a bit hysterical about offshore processing, but I think that needs to be something that's done. I'm worried about the RAF side of things, because if you remember the Home Secretary Priti Patel, and I think followed by Suella Braverman, and you probably will know more than this than I, they tried to have the Navy turning back boats in about 2020, I think 2021.
Because I think you'd be able to find a load of lads in the RAF who'd be more than happy to.
Well, the Navy refused.
No,
but the Military of Defence, the Ministry of Defence refused. The Ministry of Defence sent out a tweet saying we're not doing this. And so the problem that reform might face, and I'm not saying that this is right, is whether the RAF or people in the military say, well, look, actually, this is against what we stand for, like the Navy did. In which case, how are they then going to force the military to do that?
I do think, though, the boats problem, once you are going to be deported when you get here, the boats will reduce significantly. So I think the Navy having to go in, or the potential conflict there, but I think the plan is pretty good. I think, you know, it sounds convincing, it's quite comprehensive. The Conservative plan now, and it's quite amazing for those of us who were in the last Parliament shouting about this sort of stuff and being told to maybe stop talking about immigration so much. Yeah. But they are saying some really good things. My idea was a global summit of countries with the same problem, because the whole system needs rewriting. So I'm pleased that both Conservatives and Reform are now coming up with some very comprehensive.
What do you make of that then?
Answers.
Yeah, what do you make of that then? So they're just, detaining them all in disused military bases until they are deported. So that would be no hotels, no houses of multiple occupancy. You know, we're going to come on at 10 p.m, by the way, to the hotel issue. But what do you think of that, Jonathan?
Look, the challenge for Reform will now be demonstrating how they will actually deliver this policy. So, for example, communities will rightly say, I don't want the disused military base in my community to be used unless you're going to give guarantees that this is a proper lockdown detention style system. Now, what's the cost of that? How quickly can that be built? Those are questions that Reform will need to answer. Then there is obviously the legal questions. Leaving the ECHR is absolutely correct, but there's also the UN Convention of Refugees. There's also the Human Rights Act. Again, the legal proceedings and the speed in which you're going to pass legislation through the House, how you're going to overcome activist lawyers from the left trying to drag you through the appeals courts and Supreme Court, again, are things that Reform are going to have to do. However, and I say that as a challenge to them, because I genuinely want this to work, and I genuinely want them, if they get into power, to make this happen. Because as Jane says, I am incensed when I watch for over the last 2 weeks Conservative MPs on the airways talking about the deportation plan, like carving out parts of the Human Rights Act. Do you know why I'm angry about it, Patrick? Because in that Safety of Rwanda bill that we voted on right before the general election, myself, Jane and others begged the Prime Minister, begged the then Home Secretary, begged the government to adopt those exact policy ideas, and we were told no, time and again in meetings. They voted against it when we forced a vote in the House of Commons. We were made to be treated as pariahs by 80% of the spineless backbench Tory MPs that sit in the House of Commons still to this day.
Why do you think that they
Because they were so obsessed with being popular on X with their lefty-lovey mates, and they were so obsessed with not wanting to upset the lawyers. We were told relentlessly by the former Chief Whip that he had to keep the party together. It was all about making sure we keep party unity without having the backbone to say, this wing of the party is going to drag you down, they should be booted out. And so I am incensed to see the Conservatives trying to, I'm sure they will try and denigrate it, but they have nothing to stand on, having been there and voted against every single attempt for us to try and do something about it.
Really kind of getting at Reform, going, when is this plan coming? When is this plan coming? Well, it's happened right now. This is it. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, and it's also, they're in a position where they can make some promises without all the detail on how they do the follow-through. I mean, I think, you know, for balance, we should say, was it 50,000 crossings so far this year? Imagine how bad that would have been if Keir Starmer hadn't smashed the gangs. So bear that in mind, just for the balance. But you know what? Some of the things on the list are doable now, and some of them are kind of being done now. I mean, the one in Essex, I can't remember which part of Essex, the old
Epping?
No, not the military base that is being converted.
James Cleverly's
Weathersfield.
Yeah.
Weathersfield.
So,
RAF Weathersfield.
No, Weathersfield's up north. I know enough about the Essexes.
That's Coronation Street, mate. No, Weathersfield.
No, I've seen it. Is that on a documentary? No, so that's taking a leaf out of the way that Germany looks at it, because the hotels clearly aren't working. You can have, I mean, if ever there's a nation that's good at concentrating people together into a campus, I suppose the Latin word would be, it's Germany, but we don't want to copy that too much. But what they're doing in having these policies that means you don't use the hotels, good. It's happening already. So Reform are just doing something, promising it later down the pipeline. It's already coming in.
Can I just say something really quickly? What is hilarious, by the way, and incredibly frustrating, is that Labour are sort of piping up about how, oh look, the deportations are up, and the number of people in hotels going is going down. And you think, well, the numbers are up. So yes, you're deporting more people, but more people are coming, and the hotel numbers are up.
Just talking of numbers, there's an additional bit of information here. So Nigel Farage claims that this will cost £10 billion over 5 years in order to do this. Look, I don't know exactly where he's getting those numbers from. This is just what he says. But if you look at the fact that it's cost us 4.7 billion quid, I think, in the last year alone, just to do with the sun, and we're getting record numbers, and supposedly we're due quite a busy week in the Channel again next week. We can get.
I think people would pay more than that if they knew it solved the problem. I think if they knew
if it were deliverable, saying you're going to have a deal with Afghanistan, could all right, make that. It's like me saying on a date, Kylie, I can do all the wishing I want. Is it actually going to be deliverable?
But do you know what, Patrick? Because it's a fair challenge, right? And again, what are you prepared to give, for example, Taliban-led Afghanistan? But at the same time, Germany's been able to get people to Afghanistan. So why can't we find out from our German counterparts what agreement they've come to?
Well, does anyone in this room, how do you think we should be able to send people back to Afghanistan? Yeah. You don't have any moral qualms about that? No. Right, OK. Because I do actually think that I could be wrong, might be people watching this at home who disagree, but I actually genuinely do think that's most people, or do think most people do not care. And I think it's like... I think it's human rights lawyers who are like, no, you can't possibly do that. And I think most people are like...
But if you look back in the last Parliament, I've got to say, the entire opposition, when we suggested anything that sort of infringed on human rights of asylum seekers, we got screamed down over the aisle. So, as one of your very, very bright audience members said a couple of weeks ago...
They're all bright.
I think for the 4 years we have to endure this appalling government, the asylum seekers should be sent to all those constituencies that voted Lib Dem, Greens, SNP, and they voted for pro-migration, pro-migrant parties, and they can have some impact.
All right, so we're going to have to go to break in a second, but we've got very, very quick comeback to any of this.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, really, that the only way I see any of this happening is if it's not just Nigel Farage is on the ticket, it's got to be a lot more sustainable, good MPs like you two. I've seen him before.
Is this a question?
No. If he goes on reform, I'll move to Stoke. It's as simple as that.
Have you been to Stoke, sir?
People in Stoke, we love it. Right, OK, right, guys, thank you very, very much again. What have we got coming up next? Oh, yes. Well, proud men and women all over the country have been putting up the England flags. This has been big news this week, hasn't it? Operation Raise the Colours, mostly because some councils have decided to rip them down. Are they ashamed of our flag? Are you proud of our flag?
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about it in a second.
I hope we haven't forgotten anything.
Travel insurance, I tick that box.
Yeah, but remember what you forgot last year.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
There's the continued threat of heavy showers over parts of Italy and the south of France for the next few days. Plenty of hot, sunny weather in Spain, and the same goes for much of Greece and Turkey as well. There are those heavy showers affecting southern Italy and further north and into the south of France. The chance of a heavy one in Nice. Small risk of a shower towards Barcelona, but most of Spain and Portugal dry and sunny, along with the Canaries. We'll hang on to the sunshine here, but a continued threat of showers in Barcelona and Nice into Monday.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Good evening. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. It's not a bank holiday in Scotland, but elsewhere it is. 3 days of largely dry weather. Can't promise sunshine all weekend. There will be a mix of sun and clouds, but it should steadily start to warm up. High pressure is in control. Trapped under that area of high pressure, there has been quite a bit of cloud, and still through this evening and overnight, big lumps of cloud, providing a little bit of drizzle here and there, but most places won't see that and stay dry. Some decent clear spells across South Wales, South West England, and some breaks in the cloud across northern Scotland, allowing temperatures well down into single figures here. Most towns and cities holding up about 11 to 13 degrees. Into the weekend, it is likely to start fairly drab for many, but I'm hopeful the cloud will tend to break up. We'll see some sunny spells. Like today, South West England, South Wales should do okay for blue sky. The cloud thick enough maybe for a bit of drizzle over northern England, maybe the Midlands. And during the day, an increasing threat of a few light showers just trickling towards Northern Ireland. Mostly a dry start across Scotland. So we'll have some clear skies in the northeast. It will allow for a chilly start here, but quite quickly, once the sun's up, those temperatures will start to tick up through the day. As we go through the day, not a great deal of change. I'm hopeful the cloud will break up a little bit more and we'll see some sunny spells. So dry and bright basically sums it up, but there will be a few showers coming into Northern Ireland during the afternoon. Later, they could drift into western Scotland. Temperature-wise, well, about average for the time of year for most, but still feeling quite cool, especially if it stays cloudy in northeast England, only 16 or 17 here. Bit of sunshine, we could see temperatures into the low 20s elsewhere. Sunday sees the threat of a few showers into western Scotland, but again, pretty well scattered. Most places will stay dry, and many places will see a bit more in the way of sunshine coming through. And as a result, temperatures just lifting by a little bit. And into Monday, I'm even more optimistic for sunny skies for many and slightly warmer.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Yes, thank you very much to my live studio audience. And flag wars, yes, they've been erupting across London, not just London, most places, after councils ordered the tearing down of our flag. But activists have been fighting back, predictably, across the UK, launching Operation Raise the Colours by putting more flags up in defiance. The fallout began last week. Birmingham City Council, I mean, we all remember what went on there. Birmingham, a city previously littered with Palestine flags from every corner. When I was up there covering the bin strike, they were there.
And rubbish.
There was rubbish, but there was also just the flag of pretty much every single country, roughly in that Middle East area, apart from, of course, no British flags. And Tower Hamlets as well. Council workers also began tearing down the flags, and there you go. Yes, but there's been many acts of defiance, haven't there, where people graffitied 6 mini roundabouts in red crosses. Literally, as I said to you before, as I was driving in today, someone's done it just down the road from here as well. You love to see it. Of course, new footage has revealed that the council took no time in just cleaning that up, washing it away. They can't take your bins out, but they can get that off a roundabout in seconds. So there we go. But yeah, the general mood in this room, from what I've asked you already, is that you are pretty proud of our flag. There's a chap here with a microphone. So you're proud of our flag, are you?
I'd say that's an understatement.
Right.
I live in the beleaguered region of Tower Hamlets.
Gosh,
until recently,
all
of our flag poles had Palestinian flags on them. Recently, someone came round, took off all the Palestinian flags and put up the St George crosses. Now, 10 minutes behind them, were Tower Hamlets Council, who took down the St George crosses.
Right.
But what they didn't realise was 15 minutes behind them was another team who were putting up the Union flag. So is it worthwhile anyone taking those flags down?
No, it's not.
And we dare them.
Yeah, well, there you go. All right, so well done. Go on, Joe. What's your view on the Operation Raise the Colours? You're proud of our flag?
I kind of like... I was driving through a bit of Wolverhampton, sort of Coppice Farm, and there were Union flag, St George's flag, Union flag, St George's flag. They looked amazing. They looked magnificent. Every lamppost had a flag stuck on it. The mini roundabouts, I'm debating, because some of the artistic efforts in Wolverhampton weren't very good. It was very thin red line. But, but they look amazing. I think it's cheering people up. It's giving us a sense of national pride. I like it, but... councils probably won't.
I'd like to hear from someone else. Well, just wave your hand at me in a second or two. But why do you think people are doing it? That's what I want to know. Like, why is it that you think people are doing it? Because it just feels like we've had enough of something. I don't know. Like, what is it that's making people finally decide to hoist the colours? The chap who's gone straight away. Good lad. Behind you with the microphone, sir. Pass it one back. Why do you think people do it? Do you want to stand up for us? Thank you, mate.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Being a veteran, the reason is that's why it's my flag. I served under it. The late Queen I served under. And I don't think we need permission from anybody to put a flag up. And that's how I feel personally. But then when people put other flags up for an event, I don't mind that. But then when you're trying to put a political view with your flags in my country that I served, I find that quite offensive, because at the end of the day, you're a guest in my country. So, that's the way I look at the way the flag goes.
All right. Well, Christo, your view on this?
So, you could help me out here. So, this is happening in Birmingham, right?
But part of it is, yeah.
But also in Birmingham, they're not collecting any rubbish.
No.
No. But they're taking down the flag, St George's.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I've got a solution, actually.
Oh, here we go.
To get if you want your rubbish collected in Birmingham, if you just put this St George's flag on your bin liner, I'm telling you now, they'll take it away immediately.
I wonder what the smell was.
Yeah, so this is all my rubbish.
Yeah.
But, so now this will go within seconds, right? Just leave that on the side of the road and it'll be gone.
Or hoist it from a lamppost.
Yeah, and they'll get rid of it in seconds. So everyone in Birmingham...
For a year.
Yeah, exactly. Put the Union flag or St George's on your bin liner and the problem will get solved.
That's all very well, but my Knight Templar who lives in my front garden's been taken away, and I miss that guy.
I'll go very quickly, Jonathan. Sorry, we're going to have to...
I was on a rival network with Adol Ray, who was perplexed at the fact that I said this country should only fly the Union flag, the St George's flag, the county flag, for example, because ultimately I'm sick, and I'll say it again, sick to the back teeth of seeing the Palestinian flag, which is becoming a political symbol of those deliberately designed to intimidate those who are supporters of Israel's right to self-determination, as well as the Jewish community in this country. And I want to see those flags torn down. I want to see us be more like some of mainland Europe, proudly flying our flags and not being ashamed to do so.
Stephen, sorry, I've got to come to you first on the next topic, I'm afraid, mate. Sure. Very sorry, we're going to have to go. A spokesperson for Tower Hamlets Council says, while we recognise people wish to express their views, we have a responsibility to monitor and maintain council infrastructure. Where flags are attached to council-owned infrastructure without permission, they may be removed. Oh, Birmingham's been on as well, thank you very much. People who attach unauthorised items to lampposts could be putting their lives and the lives of motorists at risk. We're continuing to do this every week and would ask the staff doing this work be allowed to continue unhindered.
What a boring person.
Well, after the break, we are expecting Strike Armageddon. Yes, we thought it was bad under the Tories. Now, apparently it's worse under Labour. Who could have possibly seen that coming? Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello, everyone. Patrick Christys here.
I'm Michelle Dewberry. Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GBNews family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection. Tune in to GB News, anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's News Channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record, just like week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Now, I've done what I always do, which is completely screw the timings up, so we're just going to get stuck straight into this. GPs might go on strike, nurses might go on strike, train drivers might go on strike, bin people are already on strike. Anyway, it's strike Armageddon, and now the tube drivers are going on strike as well. I can see a gentleman on the front row with a microphone. Have you got a comment about the strikes? No? Fair enough. We'll come to you the next segment. This is pretty bad. Strike Armageddon. Steve?
I'm on strike, so we can just move on.
Good.
It was always kind of going to happen. It was like, they didn't sort out the deals properly. It should have been, here's your agreement and don't strike again next time. I'm not in favour of the way the doctors are doing it because I didn't get anywhere near that kind of amount of money. So that's, yeah.
There is a point on that, though, seriously. Like, at what point do people think, well, if you're on, like, 100 grand a year...
Oh, no, it's not the absolute amount, it's the relative increase last time. If you got a big enough one last time and then you want another 29% on top, that just seems a bit rum.
Yeah. Well, what do you make about these tube drivers? I mean, so they're on, some of them can be on 70 or 80 grand a year, and they have 43 days holiday.
Free travel for the family as well.
And they work for about 20 minutes a day. And that's basically it. I'm sorry, we need to get rid of tube drivers and automate the tube. And then...
There was some gaps that people disagree with. We got a tube driver in? No, I was really hoping we all say that.
They surely wouldn't be at work. That's why they would be here. You automate the tube and then you put a conductor in a particular carriage so that there is always someone on the train. That would make the passengers feel safer, and it would mean that we are no longer... Because the DLR is like that. The Docklands Light Railway is completely automated, but there is a conductor that opens and closes the doors. And you know what? The train system that has the fewest strikes is the Docklands Light Railway.
OK. What do you make of strike Armageddon under Labour?
Well, hilariously, I think the strike that's got MPs most worried is the fact that the security staff who protect Parliament are themselves going on strike, and so MPs will probably take this issue much more seriously now that a coup could be on the way. And that was a joke, again, for anyone who...
All right, Lucy Connelly.
But yeah, so look, it's just the same old, same old. Is it a shock to anyone? No. When you give everyone what they want the first time round, guess what? They're going to come back and bite your hand off for more, aren't they?
OK, all right. Well, look, I just want to tease ahead to what we've got coming up, because the big one... So the big news today for me, apart from Lucy Connelly, of course, was that the government just stupidly decided that they wanted to go to war with the British people over the migrant hotel issue. They've decided they're launching legal action against it. This is a disaster waiting to happen. Yvette Cooper, of course, isn't in the country as this is happening. She's gone interrailing with Ed Balls, which actually I think is a fate worse than death, to be honest with you, as far as I can tell.
Interrailing?
With Ed Balls.
What was she, 18 on her gap year? I'm sorry, she's interrailing.
Well, you've seen Nicola Sturgeon's decided to have a delayed adolescence, so, you know, anything's possible. Notting Hill Carnival starts tomorrow as well, should it be banned. And taxes, it looks as though... We're going to ask, should inheritance tax be scrapped? You've got all of that and much more in the next hour.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good evening. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. It's not a bank holiday in Scotland, but elsewhere it is. 3 days of largely dry weather. Can't promise sunshine all weekend. There will be a mix of sun and clouds, but it should steadily start to warm up. High pressure is in control. Trapped under that area of high pressure, there has been quite a bit of cloud, and still through this evening and overnight, big lumps of cloud, providing a little bit of drizzle here and there, but most places won't see that and stay dry. Some decent clear spells across South Wales, southwest England, and some breaks in the cloud across northern Scotland, allowing temperatures well down into single figures here. Most towns and cities holding up about 11 to 13 degrees. Into the weekend, it is likely to start fairly drab for many, but I'm hopeful the cloud will tend to break up. We'll see some sunny spells. Like today, southwest England, South Wales should do OK for blue sky. The cloud thick enough maybe for a bit of drizzle over northern England, maybe the Midlands. And during the day, an increasing threat of a few light showers just trickling towards Northern Ireland. Mostly a dry start across Scotland. So we'll have some clear skies in the northeast. It will allow for a chilly start here, but quite quickly, once the sun's up, those temperatures will start to tick up through the day. As we go through the day, not a great deal of change. I'm hopeful the cloud will break up a little bit more and we'll see some sunny spells. So dry and bright basically sums it up, but there will be a few showers coming into Northern Ireland during the afternoon. Later, they could drift into western Scotland. Temperature-wise, well, about average for the time of year for most, but still feeling quite cool, especially if it stays cloudy in northeast England, only 16 or 17 here. Bit of sunshine, we could see temperatures into the low 20s elsewhere. Sunday sees the threat of a few showers into western Scotland, but again, pretty well scattered. Most places will stay dry, and many places will see a bit more in the way of sunshine coming through. And as a result, temperatures just lifting by a little bit. And into Monday, even more optimistic for sunny skies for many and slightly warmer.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
There's just 2 weeks left to see how you can win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. Make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day.
Bulletins here on GB News. The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akua, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
All right, good evening, everybody. Yes, hello. Good to see you. Happy Friday, happy Friday. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming. Brilliant. We've got people in from Manchester, from South Wales, from all over. You love to see it. Well, it's 10 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. On tonight's show.
Have you been Keir Starmer's political prisoner?
Absolutely. And me and several other people. Like I said, it's important to remember that it wasn't just me.
Yes, well, in fact, Lucy Connelly is on the front of a lot of newspapers tomorrow. I've got advanced sight of tomorrow's front pages. I was Starmer's political prisoner is what's on the front of the Daily Telegraph. And it's the government versus the people, isn't it? Yvette Cooper has just made a completely ludicrous decision. She's going to challenge that court ruling, saying that the migrant hotel in Epping is illegal. But, gosh, where is Yvette? She's gone into railing with Ed Balls, apparently, which is good news, of course, for anyone who watches Good Morning Britain, because he won't flipping be there. But there we go. Interestingly, actually, I was just sticking on this, I've also got advanced sight of tomorrow's Weekend paper, and they say voter attitudes to migration toughen as more asylum hotels are targeted. The is, of course, a left-wing paper, and they are now hammering the idea that most people in Britain want this to stop. Also tonight...
Tip for first-timers at Hill Carnival. Firstly, why is it your first time? But actually, on a serious note, check the weather forecast, make sure you stay hydrated, take a bottle of water.
Take a stab vest, too, as well. Notting Hill Carnival starts tomorrow, but should it be banned? And...
I wouldn't be opposed to 100% inheritance tax. Or maybe, let's say, 99%.
Yeah, jealous, I think, isn't he? Yeah, really. Bit jealous. Should we scrap inheritance tax? On my panel tonight, we have got the former Deputy Chairman of the Tory party, Jonathan Gullis. And it's broadcasting royalty, Christo Fufas. We've got former Conservative MP Jane Stevenson. And GB News contributor and comedian Steve N. Allen. All right, get ready, Britain. Here we go. The government has gone to war with the people. Next.
Very good evening. It's just gone 10 o'clock. These are your latest headlines. The top story tonight, Nigel Farage has unveiled his blueprint for the mass deportation of hundreds of thousands of asylum seekers who come to the UK on small boats. His plan would take Britain out of the European Convention on Human Rights and opt out of the UN Convention against Torture and other international agreements. Reform UK's idea of emergency legislation, known as the Illegal Migration Mass Deportation Bill, would bar those who come to the UK on small boats from claiming asylum. And whilst they await their deportation, they would be held in detention centres in RAF bases. He's also pledged to put on 5 deportation flights a day and will sign return deals with countries including Afghanistan and Eritrea. In an interview with The Times, the Reform UK leader said he believes this is his do-or-die moment and that there needs to be a massive turnaround as Britain goes rapidly downhill. Also breaking tonight, Ghislaine Maxwell says she never saw President Donald Trump act inappropriately, according to a newly released Justice Department transcript. The convicted sex trafficker, who was an associate of Jeffrey Epstein, told Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche in July that President Trump was, quote, always very cordial and very kind. Ms Maxwell also denied knowledge of any so-called Epstein client list and that she does not believe Epstein died by suicide. The transcript was released as pressure mounts on the Justice Department to disclose more about its Epstein probe. Lucy Connelly has accused Sir Keir Starmer of holding her as a political prisoner, and she says it was bizarre that she had to spend more than a year behind bars. Speaking to The Telegraph, she said she's considering legal action against the police, as she explains she believes that they were dishonest in what they released about her. A Northamptonshire police spokesperson said that they are hoping to contact Ms Connelly in the coming days to understand she's raised the issues.
Of course, it wasn't my finest moment, and I definitely don't advocate violence or burning anything down or anything of the sort. To be honest, it was emotion. Does that make sense? I don't know what was going on. I was just so upset and so angry and just thinking to myself, when will this stop, you know? I was just anger, you know, like, and just, I wasn't thinking rationally.
And in some international news, Vladimir Putin says he believes there's light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to the Russia-US relations. Speaking during a visit to a nuclear research centre, the Russian leader said that he was certain President Trump's leadership qualities would help in restoring relations from their recent lows. He added that their meeting in Alaska last week was, quote, very good, meaningful and frank. Mr Putin said the ball is now in the US's court and that the next step depends on the leadership that comes from President Donald Trump. Those are the latest GB News headlines for now. More from me in an hour, but now it's back to Patrick.
Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you again to my wonderful live studio audience. There is a lot to get stuck into this hour, and here's where we're starting. The government is versus the people. The court ruled that the illegal migrant hotel in Epping had to close. This meant that councils up and down the country are now taking the government to court to get their migrant hotels closed. And the government, as far as I can understand it, basically had 4 options. Option number 1, mass deportations. Option number 2, admit that they were wrong about Rwanda, which, by the way, several Labour MPs have now done, and they are calling comically for a Rwanda-style scheme. Anyway, option number 3, move them into HMOs, houses of multiple occupancy. Option number 4, fight the public. And they chose option number 4. That's just ludicrous, isn't it? It's ridiculous. They chose to fight the public. Bad move. But gosh, you know, this is the kind of thing where you'd want to see your Home Secretary come out, front up to it, maybe put a plinth outside Downing Street, sell it to us. Come on, Yvette, sell it to us. Where is she? Yes, she's reportedly gone interrailing around Europe with her husband, Ed Balls. So, I'm sorry, but at this particular moment in time, she's essentially fled the country whilst we've got all of this going on. I think that's pretty pathetic. By the way, some Labour MPs, as I was saying, are now calling for that Rwanda-style scheme. And Security Minister Dan Jarvis, who? Yeah, me neither. Dan Jarvis said,
we've made a commitment that we will close all of the asylum hotels by the end of this Parliament, but we need to do that in a managed and ordered way.
We know what that means, OK? So we need to close all the asylum hotels by the end of this Parliament, but we need to do it in a managed and controlled way. We know what it means. Close the hotels, approve a load of asylum seekers, like the overwhelming majority of them, and then move them into houses around the country. There are set to be around 27 protests around migrant hotels this weekend. The British government is supposed to protect and represent the British public, is it not? But today, by fighting to keep migrant hotels open, I think they decided to go to war with the people. And just in the last hour, we had Reform UK's new policy on the illegal immigration. I know you've all heard it in here, but we have a spike in viewers at 10 p.m, so I'll remind our viewers at home. That policy is to arrest and detain anyone in disused military bases that comes here illegally and keep them in disused military bases until they are deported. To do a returns agreement with Afghanistan and Eritrea and other similar countries to obviously just send people back there. They also say that they will use some British overseas territories, for example, the Ascension Islands, where they can fly people over to. They want 5 deportation flights every day, and they will make it a criminal offence to return to Britain once you've been deported, which ridiculously, apparently, it isn't already. So, there you go. Anyway, that's the latest on it. Let's go to my panel. Let's get the views of my audience. There's a gentleman on the front row here. I think you wanted to make a point, did you, about this, the government essentially picking a fight with the people over the migrant hotel issue. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I just don't see how the government can really go against the public word. As, you know, they're meant, like you said, they're meant to be protecting us. They're meant to be, you know, defending our country, but it seems that mass migration and everything, that they just seem to smashing the gangs and stuff, like they just go back on it and they seem to be defending them instead. So I just wanted to really ask, like, what is it that you can see Labour's going to do about it? Like, do you know if there's anything that's going to happen in the future and how reform is going to recover this?
Well, I mean, I think Labour is, like we said, maybe just going to try to use the HMOs, which I think people might think is worse than hotels. But and I mean, reform have just set out their plan. But can I ask you? I mean, you obviously feel very, very strongly about this. Do you just feel quite let down by the government when it comes to the migrant hotel?
Yeah, I feel very let down. I mean, as a young Christian male, you know, I stand on my values of, you know, I believe in Jesus, and with the migration, bringing Islam and bringing some extreme views into this country, I feel very unsafe. So as a young man, you know, and for the British public, it's very, you know, disturbing seeing, like, all these guns being found in camps.
Being found in camps. I mean, that's a good point about the guns. I mean,
it's
a ridiculous thing, and we know that there's been people who've brought over, you know, people who've been sympathetic towards ISIS, which I think is what you were getting at there, as well. So yeah. All right. Well, let's open this up to the panel. Jonathan, your views on initially Labour basically taking the people to court over migrant hotels.
Well, it's a position they probably feel that they have to in order to actually make sure that in the interim they're able to hold people in some sort of facility. I think if they came out with a very serious plan of what's the alternative, Dan Jarvis had an absolute nightmare on the media round when he was asked, well, when you keep saying a range of options, what is a range of options? The fact that he couldn't answer that shows how little they've even thought about when it comes to ending hotel use, where are people going instead. What Labour's done very cleverly is they'll dine out on the fact that the backlog has got down by another, I think, around 20,000. What they don't then say is actually the overwhelming majority of those people are being approved to remain in this country indefinitely. We know around 63% or so who come over end up being given the right to remain in the country. We know that if you then are not initially and you appeal it, it's then a 50-50 chance. So absolutely, the odds are always stacked in your favour when it comes to coming across the channel. We know this deal with France is 1 out and 17 in at best, 94% chance of you being able to stay in this country. Another joke for this Labour government to have to overcome. So I think the reality is that they're just not being frank and honest with the British people. And so that's why reform will be rightly getting a lot of plaudits when they say you have to actually detain and then deport. And detaining means having people locked away where they are not able to go and roam or illegally work, as being exposed by GBNews and The Sun and others in the black market, whether that be in the drug trade or whether that just be in delivering food, as well as obviously making sure that we then know that these men, predominantly men, are locked up, because there is a serious risk with their medieval attitudes in some cases towards the women and children of this country.
I think, Christo, I think the optics of basically now we've had the big verdict at Epping. 27 or so other areas are trying to follow suit on that, so they got the ball rolling. For the government to now step in and try to block that, I just think it's a really dumb move.
Well, it's ego, isn't it? It's Keir Starmer. He can't bear it, can he? He cannot bear that man's ego. Is honestly, it's the size of the Bell Hotel. It's the size of any asylum hotel, because he can't bear the thought that people might be trying to, and the council might be challenging his authority, and that is, you know, over and above anything else, what he cares about. And I'm so annoyed for you. I'm so annoyed for all of us, because we have a housing problem in this country. It is a massive housing problem. Today, as things stand, we're 5 million houses short. And so you're absolutely right when you say what's going to end up happening is that they will end up taking people out of hotels and they will be put into flats, or they will be put into HMOs in the community, which means that your rent or your house price when you want to move will be higher. Or the perverse situation will be that Labour, one of the few good things they're doing, I think, is actually trying to build more houses, and they're going to end up putting the people that they're having to rehouse from hotels in the houses that they're building
for free. And they'll outbid you for them. This is the other thing that's going to come down the track. They're going to end up outbidding people for these houses.
The thing that will work is to stop them coming rather than trying to manage it when they do.
OK. By the way, if anyone else wants to get involved in this conversation, I know it's a hot topic for a lot of people. Just wave your hands, get involved. Someone who's not been on yet would be fantastic. Jane, we'll just work our way down the line. Jane, what do you make of this?
Well, smash the gangs was always nothing more than a slogan. I knew Labour didn't have the stomach to do... We need some quite definite extreme measures to solve this problem. It is a problem that we share with a lot of European countries, with the United States, and you need to get tough. And I'm afraid Labour, they complained when the Bibi Stockholm, which was perfectly reasonable place to put, it wasn't plush enough, but I think Keir Starmer now, it's a mathematical problem. There are so many people in hotels, you cannot find alternative accommodation. So if all these councils are successful in saying, well, it's the same planning loophole here and we don't consider it legal, they are not going to have anywhere to stay.
Maths is now far right.
I know
maths is now far right.
Maths is far right, but I'm afraid, and Labour MPs have been trotted out, and Barry said it a few weeks ago, saying, oh, hotel use is down, which implied there were fewer people in hotels. There are 8% more people in hotels than when Labour came into power. Asylum claims are up 14%. The maths, I'm afraid, became very clear today to all of us.
Starting to realise why Barry took his holiday.
But they've just got through Lisbon. That's what it is.
Is Barry interrailing with...
Well, possibly with Ed Balls and grief. Look, I think this issue today, that there was a range of options the government could have done in relation to the Bell Hotel. One of those options would be to actually use this as gosh, there's nothing we can do now. It turns out these illegal migrant hotels have been illegal themselves all along. Let's just maybe start deporting people. They didn't do that. This is going to... I don't want to say the words this is going to kick off, but it's going to fuel, I think, some of the tensions in society at the moment.
Well, it shouldn't, because I've just got some notes from Barry, and here's the annoying thing. Here's the truth of it. They've not gone to war with the people, because the details of what's happening here is not that the government stepped in and go, no, we wish you to reverse your decision. The court just said it was an injunction, so you've got to go back to court to work out whether there's a planning problem anyway. And this was a case between the council and the private providers of the accommodation. The government weren't involved in it, and the government wanted to have an intervention, and the judge didn't allow it. And the reason for not allowing that intervention was timing. So they're just appealing against the lack of intervention.
Can I just say on that, because the government claimed, and this was a lie, right, the government claimed that they weren't aware of this court hearing. So at the 11th hour, so the government genuinely tried to claim that they were not aware that the Bell Hotel was going to the High Court and it was going to be heard that day, which is not...
Maybe they don't watch.
Maybe
that's what it is.
They're all interrailing.
Yeah.
They're not there.
But so it's not that they're going to court to try and reverse the decision. They're just saying the not allowing our intervention shouldn't be, and so they want that intervention. Now we don't know what that intervention is. We'll find out, won't we? But the newspapers are going with the war event against the people. It's not. It's just disagreeing with what the judge said about this injunction.
Do you really think the intervention is going to be, well, we support the people and we want to secure this intervention is going to be this happens?
Me saying I don't know the details of the intervention doesn't mean I think it'd be that.
No.
But it's also not true to say they're going to war with the UK people. They're disagreeing with the judge's decision on an intervention.
I kind of think... I'm sorry, I just kind of think they are. I think the mood, as the I weekend would suggest, tomorrow, voters' attitudes towards migration are hardening as Keir Starmer faces mounting pressure over asylum seekers being housed in hotels. Migration has now overtaken the NHS as the second most important issue facing the country after the cost of living.
They might be related, the migration and the NHS.
Well, possibly.
The numbers of people using the NHS,
we
maybe.
We did see a Labour MP finally this week say we have to leave the ECHR.
Well, and the other joke of this, by the way, is that Labour MPs are now apparently, this was reported in the Daily Mail earlier, saying we need a Rwanda scheme. Yeah. After they scrapped it. They scrapped it on day one. He stood there proud as punch, didn't he? And scrapped it.
With no other deterrent. And we'd made it illegal to enter Britain on a small boat, and Labour cancelled it. So it's not illegal anymore.
What do you make of some of that Labour hypocrisy, Jonathan? Oh.
That's what needs to be said. It's the same old nonsense that we've had to endure with this Labour Party, as they came in thinking that they would be able to solve it because they're good guys and that the lawyers wouldn't get in the way and they'd be able to get loads of deals, and the deal with France would basically mean we'd be able to return everyone. And lo and behold, Keir Starmer continuously have his trousers pulled around his ankles in every deal that he manages to do, and then giving away billions of pounds of taxpayers' money at the same time. It's just absolutely extraordinarily boring to now see Labour MPs calling for something which they had the power to do. But hey, I suppose that they'll find a now way. I look forward to now seeing the arguments about Rwanda as a safe country.
Do you know, I'm still more horrified by the thought of interrailing with Ed Balls than Keir Starmer's trousers around his ankles. I just want to say that. It still horrifies me more.
Oh, can you imagine getting on a train and sitting down and it's in fact Cooper and Ed Balls next to you? So it's got to get out of here. Get out of here. But anyway,
conversation.
All right, well, just to emphasise again, there was some breaking news in the last hour. I imagine it will probably be on the front of one of tomorrow's newspapers. But, Reform have announced what they say is their plan to solve the illegal migrant crisis: arrest and detain everyone who arrives illegally, return people straight away to places like Afghanistan, Eritrea, use British overseas territories and make it a criminal offence for anyone who's deported to try to return. They say it'll cost 10 billion quid over 4 years. That's their plan. No doubt the other parties will be trying to pick that apart. No doubt Labour will be saying they're trying to do everything they possibly can to sort this crisis out. But there is a lot more coming your way. I'm quite keen to get people's views. Is anyone here going to Notting Hill Carnival? Yes, brilliant, fantastic. Well, there's a couple, but you live there, don't you? So we were talking, you can't escape it. But we're going to be talking about that because there's been some preemptive arrests today. Apparently, I think it was 100 people arrested. They managed to seize something like 19 weapons or something like that. So maybe it'll all be safe and lovely. But before that, it's time for the Great British Giveaway. Yes, it's your chance to win mortgage. Mortgage or rent-free for a year, I think. £5,000 in cash, or just 15 grand in cash as well. Here's how you can be in it to win it.
It's the final week to see how you could win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 tax-free cash instead. Make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
All right, well, loads on when we come back. We are going to be talking about inheritance tax and just the fact that there seems to be a load more stealth taxes coming your way. Quite keen to get my viewers' views on that. But in other news, Notting Hill Carnival's just around the corner, isn't it? 2 people were stabbed to death at last year's carnival, and there are fears of more violence at this weekend's event. So I want to know whether or not people think it should be cancelled, should it be moved? What can we expect? Stay tuned.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Our reporter Anna Riley is in Ilkley. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hey,
by gum, what accent
outfits you've got there this morning. Happy Yorkshire Day and welcome to Ilkley. It certainly is God's own country, is Yorkshire. Absolutely splendid place, and of course we're so proud of our culture. We've got our own language, we've got our own sayings, and it's just a beautiful part of the world. Celebrated every year on the 1st of August. It's arranged by the Yorkshire Society, and it's all about celebrating our heritage, and it's going to be great for businesses as well as the town here today. We're going to have a procession of mayors coming through later this morning, the largest gathering of civic mayors in the world, and we're going to hear the town crier and also on Ilkley Moor bar taps, which means on Ilkley Moor without your hats. The unofficial anthem of Yorkshire is going to be sung. We're joined this morning now by Joe Smith. He's the retail manager of Lishman's of Ilkley, and of course a butcher with a pork pie. Good morning. Good morning. Tell us about Yorkshire Day and what it means to you.
So Yorkshire Day for us is very good for the business and all the local authorities. It brings all people down to the shop celebrating Yorkshire Day. I think today will especially be great.
What is it about Yorkshire folk and about the countryside that we've got here as well, the moors, and what do you think draws people here?
Well, it's just the natural beauty, and it's away from everything. You know, we're not in the city, we're in a really nice kind of area.
GBNews, the People's Channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Now, we've got a bit of a party atmosphere in here, but Notting Hill Carnival starts tomorrow. Yeah, so that's a good day out, isn't it, really, I suppose? Apparently the police have been banned from dancing at this year's carnival. They've been banned. They've been told they can't dance. Well, to be fair on that police officer, he wasn't doing the dancing, but anyway. But before it's even begun, 100 people have been arrested and dozens of weapons have been seized ahead of this weekend at Notting Hill Carnival. Officers confiscated 11 firearms and more than 40 knives, with 21 offenders being recalled to prison. The Met says the operation was designed to deter those posing the greatest risk to the public. Just kind of shows you what can be done, doesn't it, actually, when they care? Because those people presumably had the weapons for a while. But anyway, whatever. By the way, Sadiq Khan has got some advice for you. If you're thinking of attending Carnival, we'll throw it over to the London Mayor, much loved as he is.
Tip for first-timers at Hill Carnival. Firstly, why is it your first time? But actually, on a serious note, check the weather forecast, make sure you stay hydrated, take a bottle of water with you. Don't wear your favourite shirt. As I've learned, it will get either oil on it or paint on it. You must try some jerk chicken. And also don't forget to rep your country, whether it's by a football shirt, a flag or colours. Really important, rep your country.
So we like flags?
Yeah. Oh, just not ours. Sorry, no, that's the other countries' flags.
Oh, all right. Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah.
Far right again. Sorry.
That's right. Let's go straight to the audience on this one. I suppose the overall question I asked was like, I don't know, should it be cancelled? Should it be cancelled or should it be moved? So your views, sir?
Yeah. So my view is no, it shouldn't be cancelled. It should be organised. If you look at all the other events in London, it's fenced off, there are walkways across the road, certain points. Everything is there for you. So why can't you do it at Ladbroke Grove? It's exactly the same structure. It's going down a street, it's going along the street, it's going up Ladbroke Grove, coming back in. And they've got parks all around Ladbroke Grove that they can use for offsets, which they do on Saturday for bands. So when they first do the celebration. Then when you've got that control, your crime rate starts to get organised in the respects of where you get control on that part. But in the whole rest of London, you can't go anywhere because there's always barriers, there's always security. VE Day was a perfect example. Celebration of freedom, you couldn't go in a Green Park because it was all cordoned off. So why can they do it at Westminster and all the other big events, but not at Ladbroke Grove? You know, let the people enjoy their festival. And of course, if you've got it controlled, the crime rate does go down a bit.
It probably would be more enjoyable, actually.
Of course it would be,
to
yeah.
honest.
And also, you wouldn't border up all the shops, which is a big thing, because they're all boarded up now.
I was in Notting Hill earlier this morning, and yeah, they've boarded it all up, really, pretty much, which isn't a great sign. Just make you think, well, you know, why should you have to do that? But anyway, I suppose.
Doesn't it get you into carnival atmosphere of boarded up shops and buildings and 100 arrests and 11 firearms found and 40 knives? Yay, carnival! That really gets me in the mood.
But at least having boarded up shops means that people of Notting Hill can know what it's like to be on any other high street in the nation. Saves them the travel, isn't it?
The thing is, why can't they, and maybe this gentleman could answer, but why can't they move it to Hyde Park? Like Hyde Park, literally, you could spit from Hyde Park and you would be in Notting Hill.
I am sympathetic to the idea that it should be in Notting Hill.
But it is, Hyde Park is practically Notting Hill. You could start the procession in Notting Hill, but then have the main thrust of it in Hyde Park. Why, can I ask why he's shaking his head? Why are you shaking your head?
I disagree. Because if you can organise the rest of it in London, if you can organise a Lord Mayor show with all these fences, if you can organise the Pride with all these fences, if you can organise that...
They're on really main streets, whereas Notting Hill has got really smaller streets.
Why does it matter?
Well, because there are too many people for the streets.
Exactly, so, because there's no control. All there is a string that goes down on the middle of a road.
So would you ticket it?
You can do if you want to, but there's still no control. Control helps.
I think if you want to organise
Go on.
it, you'd have to ticket it.
Oh, well, sorry, guys. We've got Mr. Notting Hill himself in. Yeah, go on.
Not Mr. Notting Hill, but the Notting Hill Carnival started out of a tradition of an event that happened in the 60s.
Yeah.
And it was, those streets were the streets that were for that carnival. To move it to someplace else takes that tradition away from the people that live in that area.
Yeah.
As for boarding them up, there's about 1 million plus people coming. The facilities there are limited, you know, so you have people doing things that you would not. So there has to be protection from these things and damage. There's bottleneck areas as well that cause problems, so people get jammed into certain areas. And of course, there's a criminal element that will take advantage of the Notting Hill Carnival. But I lived there all my life, and as far as I'm concerned, the carnival is a nice thing to go to, so long as you don't run into those elements and take care.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is an issue, as I think it's Dave said there, the criminality and the policing of it needs to be looked at, and the security.
Yes.
You know?
Well, exactly. Well, hopefully with these preemptive arrests, because that is the very easy trap for Carnival to fall into. If you end up having this event where every single year, like, five people die. I mean, if any of us ran it, if 5 people died every time I had an audience in here, like, we'd be shut down pretty quickly, wouldn't we? So it's the easy way.
We die laughing.
Thank you very much, Christo. Yes, indeed, indeed. All right. Jonathan, what would you do about Carnival? Would you close it? Would you move it? No. Are you going to be there? Are you going to be getting involved? Are you going to be grinding up against a police officer?
No, I won't be at Carnival, but I think the gentleman at the back deserves a job, and Sadiq Khan should hire him if he wants to make sure that this festival is...
I won't tell you what he said. Yeah, go on.
Because, look, I think that's the problem with it, isn't it? It's the complete lack of what appears to be control. And I think therein lies the problem. Because, as rightly has been pointed out, in London, when there's other events, you see the steel barriers along the side, you see the police, you see the additional security, you see a very controlled system. And it doesn't feel that way when it comes to Notting Hill Carnival. Sadly, as you say, we see people being attacked, even murdered on the streets, weapons being found. And as Christo joked lightheartedly, but obviously on a serious point, like, how is that meant to be in any relation to what the whole actual festival and carnival is about? It really undermines, actually, the very good nature of what the intention was back from the 60s of having this important festival. So I think that, look, the police, well done for taking preemptive action, but don't just do this for a headline. the day before. This has to continue throughout. And on the other side of things, let's actually see a proper thought-out plan by the mayor, God forbid that that's possible, in order to actually make sure that people can enjoy this important part of London's tradition.
Steve, do you not think it just shows what the police can do when they actually pull the finger out here?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, to do it now is... You could have done it before. Let's do it all the time. If there are 100 people out there worthy of arrest, let's get that done.
They were able to just identify them straight away, find out where they lived immediately, get the guns.
If you'd done it a few months ago, it wouldn't have hit the papers today just before. So maybe there's an awkward PR thing. The thing about the crime rate, they always say it's because of how many people go. You said it's like north of 1 million people turn up. And then that's probably why, if 5 people died at your shows, it would be a bigger issue, just as a ratio. I don't want to give too much away. There's not 1 million people sat there.
No, we can't fit them in.
Yeah.
There's a queue outside, of course. But
the million people issue, then... Because I'll admit, I don't really understand the tradition that much. I'm a northerner. You say London, it's just London. I don't know the difference between the left and right part of it, or east and west, where we are. But when you're talking about 1 million people, it does seem like that's a lot of people to fit into these small streets. So then I kind of agree with the argument of moving it to a bigger space. But that's because I wouldn't know what Ladbroke Grove is.
What an honour it would be that the biggest, like one of the Royal Park in London, one of the biggest parks in London, actually has this festival instead. I think it would be honouring. No, you're there, which... Oh, I'm getting head shakes.
They're angry. Khan's tips for Carnival there for you, you know.
Well, take some flags. I hope we see a few England flags as well this year to join everybody together. I think it's lovely we've got someone who lives in the area who really enjoys it. And it did start, it's been going for decades, and most people out of that 1 million people have a fantastic time and it's family fun, but they've got to get in. I'm really pleased the police have taken advance action, and I hope it will just be really robustly policed so people can enjoy it safely.
I'm just going to have a sip of water because Sadiq Khan reminded me the importance of hydrating. I would never have known to do that.
Have you got your favourite shirt on? Don't wear it.
Oh, yeah, I've got my favourite shirt and everything else.
Covered in oil.
Don't have too many fluids, you bleed out quicker. What you need is thicker blood.
OK, I hope the mics picked that up. That was good. Anyway, right, we got another big topic for you. Does anyone here... How do people feel about inheritance tax? Do you think it should be scrapped?
Yes.
Does anyone think it should be raised, inheritance tax? Does anyone fine? Oh, mixed bag. Wow, we're looking forward to this, because in a moment...
Lewis, you're an absolute tit. You've been made to look like a clown, you sad, pathetic little man. Lewis, what planet are you on with inheritance?
It's just... Some people are just really unlikable, aren't they? And he is one of them. The great British public doesn't think that much of lefty journalists' view. By the way, can I just say, what a relief it is that Lewis Goodall has left Sky News and the BBC, so now we know his views on things. You know, remarkable, because he hid them so well,
didn't he?
A very good job. Oh, he hid them so well when he was at the BBC. You couldn't tell he was a massive left wing. Anyway, right, so he wants the inheritance tax hiked to 100%. I've heard it all now. Stay tuned.
I hope we haven't forgotten anything.
Travel insurance, I tick that box.
Yeah, but remember what you forgot last year.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
There's the continued threat of heavy showers over parts of Italy and the south of France for the next few days. Plenty of hot, sunny weather in Spain, and the same goes for much of Greece and Turkey as well. There are those heavy showers affecting southern Italy and further north and into the south of France. The chance of a heavy one in Nice. Small risk of a shower towards Barcelona, but most of Spain and Portugal dry and sunny, along with the Canaries. We'll hang on to the sunshine here, but a continued threat of showers in Barcelona and Nice into Monday.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Good evening. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. It's not a bank holiday in Scotland, but elsewhere it is. 3 days of largely dry weather. Can't promise sunshine all weekend. There will be a mix of sun and clouds, but it should steadily start to warm up. High pressure is in control. Trapped under that area of high pressure, there has been quite a bit of cloud, and still through this evening and overnight, big lumps of cloud, providing a little bit of drizzle here and there, but most places won't see that and stay dry. Some decent clear spells across South Wales, Southwest England, and some breaks in the cloud across northern Scotland, allowing temperatures well down into single figures here. Most towns and cities holding up about 11 to 13 degrees. Into the weekend, it is likely to start fairly drab for many, but I'm hopeful the cloud will tend to break up. We'll see some sunny spells. Light today. Southwest England, South Wales should do OK for blue sky. The cloud thick enough maybe for a bit of drizzle over northern England, maybe the Midlands. And during the day, an increasing threat of a few light showers just trickling towards Northern Ireland. Mostly a dry start across Scotland. We'll have some clear skies in the northeast. It will allow for a chilly start here, but quite quickly, once the sun's up, those temperatures will start to tick up through the day. As we go through the day, not a great deal of change. I'm hopeful the cloud will break up a little bit more and we'll see some sunny spells. So dry and bright basically sums it up, but there will be a few showers coming into Northern Ireland during the afternoon. Later, they could drift into western Scotland. Temperature-wise, well, about average for the time of year for most, but still feeling quite cool, especially if it stays cloudy in northeast England, only 16 or 17 here. Bit of sunshine, we could see temperatures into the low 20s elsewhere. Sunday sees the threat of a few showers into western Scotland, but again, pretty well scattered. Most places will stay dry, and many places will see a bit more in the way of sunshine coming through. And as a result, temperatures just lifting by a little bit. And into Monday, I'm even more optimistic for sunny skies for many and slightly warmer.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record, just like week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. We have rattled through tonight. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Big shout out to people from South Wales. We've had people in from Manchester as well. Who else has come far? Who else has come far? Anyone want to chime up? No? Stoke-on-Trent. Stoke-on-Trent. There we go. All right. Nice. Good. Don't tell Christo. Doesn't like it. Doesn't like it. Anyway, well, some of the other big news this week was that the government is, well, we know they're in a financial mess, but they are looking at coming after your money, your house, everything, really. There are rumours of a new inheritance tax grab and a possible lifetime cap on the value that you can pass on tax-free before you die. If you're planning to give your kids some help on the property ladder, decades later, your gift could still count as part of your estate as far as the taxman is concerned. Look, step forward, really objective, normal, totally unbiased journalist Lewis Goodall.
What I would do, and I wouldn't be opposed to, by the way, I wouldn't be opposed to 100% inheritance tax. Or maybe, let's say, 99%. You know, my rule might be that if you can put it in 2p bags, then you can hand it over. That's fine. 99, 95%. I'm being provocative, but you see what I mean. I would not be against a far higher rate of inheritance tax than we have at the moment, which is 40% above a certain threshold. I wouldn't be opposed to putting that to 50%, 60%, 70%.
Gosh, what you couldn't quite see there is that massive chip on his shoulder. It's just there, it's just somewhere there, isn't it? But there you go. I mean, look, with more than half of first-time buyers getting help from their parents as well, it's going to have a big impact on the number of people getting on the property ladder. But it's not just inheritance tax, is it? It's talking about things like a wealth tax. It just feels like if you own something at the minute, Labour will want to kind of take it off you. So we have got a lady, Charmaine, in the audience. Thank you very much. What would you like to say on this?
Well, should we scrap inheritance tax? And I think we should.
Go.
For those of us who've worked and paid taxes all our lives, why should we not be able to pass on to what we've left to our children and grandchildren? I feel very strongly about that. I know they say not many people in this country pay it, but unfortunately I'm one of those who would pay it.
Well, good for you.
And I feel very strongly about that. I've worked for over 60 years and I'd like to pass on what I leave to my children and grandchildren and not to people who are just coming into this country and seeking a better life off my money.
Wow.
I feel very strongly about that. I really do.
Yeah, but is this not part of the social contract? Now, you say, OK, very few people. Now, look, I get it. Now, especially depending on where you live in the country, property prices are different.
Well, I live in South London.
Yeah.
And so prices in South London are very, very high.
Yeah. And you feel as though it's your right to obviously be able to give it on. And can I just ask, over the course of your lifetime, when you've been working, have you made various decisions with the idea, with the desire that one day you would specifically like to pass stuff on to the next generation?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
I've worked...
For that reason?
For that very reason.
Yeah.
I left school in 1962 when I went straight to work, and I haven't stopped since. So at the end of the day, what I leave, I'd like to pass on to my children and grandchildren, and not to people just coming into the country and not doing a day's work in their lives.
Well done, Charmaine.
I'm sorry.
Well done. Love it. Fantastic. I tell you what, someone should play that bit till it's gone on. He wouldn't know what to do, would he? I don't think he'd know what to do. Go on, Steve, your views on this. Are you going to agree or disagree with the lovely Charmaine?
Yeah. First point would be that if you've got that much money to leave, you can actually pass a lot more across to a spouse. So we should talk afterwards. To hear that you've got that much money going on. Look, it is. It was like, yeah, exactly. You're right. That it's about 4% all over states or something. So well done. You're in that top tier. Can I ask a really unpopular question that's going to make me look really bad? If you don't mind me asking. So you need to. I think it's 325, isn't it? Is the first amount above which you have to pay. But if it's a house, then it goes even higher than that. Of all of the money that you have to leave to your children, how much of it came from your actual earning, and how much came from the increase of the property value because you bought your house?
Well,
it's just, you know...
Well, I bought my house 46 years ago.
Yeah, so that must have gone up
so,
quite a bit.
Of course it's risen a lot
I'm just thinking it's a little bit not quite... When you say you've worked to earn all of that money, you've worked to earn all the money that you've earned through work.
Yeah.
You've also got an absolute ton of...
taxes all along.
Yeah, you pay tax on the money that you've earned. The money that you've gained through the property price, you pay no tax on that. So whatever you bought your house for, it will sell for a lot more. You've paid no tax on all of that increase.
Well, yes, I can see that, but at the end of the day, if I was to move from where I live now, so I've lived in my house for 46 years, if I was to move, what I'm going to sell my house for, that's what it's going to cost me in South London to buy another house.
Yeah, but we talk about inheritance tax.
No, but it's not just inheritance tax, because Rachel from Accounts has also been talking about a capital gains tax levy, and this is what is predicted on you selling your residential property. Now, we don't know what the threshold might be. We don't know if this is going to happen, but the idea that you would have to... Yeah, I don't care that you might have got some wealth from your property. Well done, you. And also, it's government failures to build property that has created a situation where you've gained that wealth. And it's one tiny bit of wealth that the government haven't got their sticky little fingers on, and they can't bear it. So they want to take it when you pass it on as an inheritance, or they're talking about taking it as part of you just selling the property, because heaven forbid someone might have a bit of wealth that they haven't managed to get their hands on. And they're so stupid, because if you
we're not supposed to accumulate anything in this country, are we?
No, because you're not allowed aspiration anymore, because they'll tax it. But also they're so stupid, because if you did pass it on to your children, well, then they might buy a property, so they'd get the stamp duty. They might do up that property, so a tradesman would get some work. If you sold it and had some money in the bank, you'd probably spend it, so they would get their pound of flesh, but it would also keep the economy going. So I am so with you. It is repellent that they are talking about taking that money from you. Awful. Awful.
I think Charmaine for Prime Minister has got a ring to it. I can see the slogans out there now. Charmaine for PM, everybody. We've only got, what have we got left on this now? About 30 seconds or so. Does anyone want to chime in quickly for 30 seconds before we go to Christys pressing in?
I think if you live in it, you save it, you smoke it, you drink it, you drive it. Queen of Thieves, Rachel Reeves, is coming for it. And it's awful. You know, it's your money, good for you, and good for your kids.
I think it's I'm sorry. I think it's also like a bit of... I know that for a lot of people, some of these figures that are like, you know, bounded about like seem astronomical, don't they? Like, well, who's got some... There has to be an element of aspiration, though, doesn't there, as well? Like, if you go into life...
The threshold should go up. It's a fiscal drag thing. You shouldn't be, let's abolish it. It should always go up, because at some point, your house will be worth $1 million, so you can't just tax people over $500,000.
But the country's so different. So in Wolverhampton, hardly anybody would have a house that would come in, but in London, it's a very ordinary house.
All right. OK, sorry, guys, we're going to have to, as much as I was enjoying that, we're going to have to go, because when we come back, we've got Greatest Britain Union Jackass, which needs a lot of audience participation, so I hope you're ready and raring to go. Stay tuned.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
Netflix has released a trailer for season 2.
Why do you read this as if it's actually serious? Netflix has released a season. Your woman, Meghan Markle, is back on making a cooking programme that no one has ever watched, right?
Yes.
And then we're all sitting saying, not only is she making that cooking programme, but her husband, where's he?
He's not in it.
Yeah, basically.
But, did you hear?
No, I don't care either.
He doesn't like lobster.
What's that got to do with the price of bread?
That's the big revelation from this trailer.
Well, if that's the best we're going to get, here it is. This is what it's like.
Of these moments of discovery and beauty. So let's be curious together. Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
Who?
My husband.
And you'll marry him? But can I just say, there's no taste to lobster, really. You can't.
Well, I don't like lobster.
Well, what do you there's nothing to lobster.
I just don't want to work that hard for my food, you know? You have to really crack and dig around.
No, that's a point. No, I agree.
And you get nothing out of it, really.
But you can have all that rubbish they're standing eating there and whatever, the sort of stuff that you would throw up in your street. And well, I don't mean concoct. I don't mean like throw up as in vomit. But anyway, it could make you. Kinsey Schofield's been across all of this. We go live. Forgive my cynicism with this. I don't care about her, and I don't care about her cooking programme. Does that make me really odd?
No, but I did really love Ellie's point about lobster being way too complicated. If I can't microwave it, I just don't find, that's too much effort for me. So, my big takeaway was Daniel, the makeup artist, survived Meghan Markle's bath salts from season 1. I thought that was exciting.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. This has been my favourite audience yet. We love it, we love it, we love it. It's time for Greatest Britain Union Jackass. We will start with the Greatest Britons. If it's all right, I'll work my way down the line. Go on then, Jonathan.
Well, there's obviously lots of obvious choices, but I think there's one that, Patrick, is you will mean something to you personally. I think Emily Carver
here we go.
has to be the Greatest Britain for not just the fact that she's now obviously off to give birth to your first child, but the fact that she married you and is having a child with you, I think is in itself something that's worth applauding. So for that reason, I'm nominating her.
I think that would be a popular choice. Well done, mate. Go on,
Could have been a Jackass nomination.
Well, I am tempted by Charmaine being my Greatest Britain. However, so honorary mention, but I'm going to go for Ethel Caterham, who is the world's oldest person. She has just marked her 116th birthday. Wow. She was born here when Edward VII was on the throne. She's his last surviving subject, 5 years before World War I. So, well, that's quite an achievement, I think.
All right, well, good. Well done, Ethel. Ethel, well done, Ethel. Right. Just a quick one, I'm just going to intersect in now, because it's a very quick shout-out, because I'm just going to just nominate one, which is actually a think tank, believe it or not, but it's called Onward, and the reason why is that they did some polling which shows that GB News is now beating Channel 4 amongst all age groups, 35 years and older, so I just thought I'd lob that in there, have that Channel 4. Anyway, right. Go on.
My greatest Britain, sadly, he died this week. He was 105. John Cruikshank, he was the last person surviving who was a in World War II. He was awarded a Victoria Cross for flight lieutenant. He was flying a plane. And go and read his story. It is absolutely extraordinary.
Oh, there you go. See.
Yeah, it's a tough one to follow, yeah. I'm nominating, it's a group one. This is the bunch of people who have been basically doing a Christo, but you did it as a joke. There are people actually spraying potholes with a St George's cross. And it's the only way to get it solved, but they've actually taken the meme, the joke, and done it for real. So let's see if it works.
All right, fantastic. Well, look, we've only got a minute 45 left, so I'm just going to award the greatest present to my wife. And, right, Union Jackass, let's rattle through this. Come on.
Richard Osman and the Rest is Entertainment podcast for the derogatory way in which they talked about Tom Skinner going on Strictly Come Dancing, claiming that it's the alt-right being invited onto the show, and that this is going to insert culture wars into the Strictly Come Dancing.
Come on, Christo.
Lewis Goodall, inheritance tax, say no more.
Yes. Yeah, I wish he would, actually. Anyway, go on then, Joe.
Queen of Thieves, Rachel Reeves. Doesn't need an explanation.
Fair enough again. Go on then.
Rishi Sunak, for back when he came up with the idea of making people who fail maths resit it, not working out that, of course, that's going to lower your pass rate, because these are people who are statistically not good at maths, now all have to do the maths GCSE, and that's why the rate was lower this time. They could have worked it out if they were good at maths, but they didn't.
Right, you're a chemist, aren't you?
Yeah.
You revealed last week, so yes, good. Right, OK, so do we want to go for, what was your one again?
Richard Osman.
Richard Osman and the Rest of Entertainment? No,
Lewis Goodall.
Lewis Goodall.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a boo. Go on, Jay. What was yours again, sorry?
Rachel Reeves.
Rachel Reeves. And again, remind me.
Rishi.
Oh, Dishy Rishi? Fishy Rishi, or whatever you call it? No? Fair enough. OK, right, I think Rachel Reeves is this week's Union Jackass. OK. Well, all that remains to be said is thank you very, very much to my wonderful audience, people coming from all over. It's been tremendous to have you. I think it might have been my favourite one yet. You can go to sroaudiences.com if you want to be a part of this magic. But, yeah, it wasn't a joke. And, yeah, thank you very much, our wonderful panel. We've got another hour where we're going to give you the first look at tomorrow's newspaper front pages. Take care, everyone. Stay safe.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good evening. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. It's not a bank holiday in Scotland, but elsewhere it is. 3 days of largely dry weather. Can't promise sunshine all weekend. There will be a mix of sun and clouds, but it should steadily start to warm up. High pressure is in control, trapped under that area.